Good afternoon. This is Chair Brian Haggerty of the El Paso Board of Trustees from the college, El Paso Community College. This is our via teleconference for our meeting schedule for August 25th, 2020 at 5 o'clock. You can access the teleconference by dialing 1-855-797-9485. Enter access code 145-555-6603. And through an audio feed found at youtube.com/goepcc. Any member of the public wishing to make a comment or question regarding an agenda item can email comments or questions to the following email address, or questions@epcc.edu. Pam, go ahead and call the order, please.
Mr. Uxer.
Present.
Ms. Sanchez. Mrs. Robles.
Present.
Dr. Graham.
Present.
Ms. Nahara.
Present.
Ms. Pena.
Present.
Mr. Haggerty.
President. Pam, 1.4.
Item 1.4, approval of minutes, none. Item 1.5. Welcome.
We'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting. 1.6, ma'am, do we have any form?
No, sir.
Okay. 1.7.
Item 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, and organizations. Dr. William Sarata, College President, will recognize individuals who have retired from the college district.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, as we start a new academic year, we also have, this is the time of year we see more retirements than normal throughout the year. So we have a significant number of retirements, and it's my pleasure to bring them forward to the board for recognition. We'll begin with Dr. William M. Ekval, DDS. Dr. Ekval has been with the college for 23 years. He retired from active duty in 1996 and began his journey at El Paso Community College in 1997 as a dental hygiene instructor. In 1998, he became the dental hygiene coordinator. Along with teaching courses, many challenges and responsibility of being dental hygiene coordinator, part of the job included providing direct dental hygiene care for the community. This included reviewing medical histories, radiographs, diagnosis of patients' needs, dental hygiene cleanings, and if needed, direct referral to the appropriate healthcare provider. As a dental hygiene coordinator, he taught several dental assisting courses and was responsible for the evaluation of patients' medical histories and radiographs. Taught numerous continuing education courses, including dental sealants and polishing, and was asked on numerous occasions to lecture to Bel Air High School students about dentistry, and in particular, the field of periodontics. Dr. Ekval was the dental hygiene coordinator during the last two successful Commission on Dental Accreditation, known as CODA, evaluations, which happens every 7 years. On behalf of the college, we thank Dr. Ekval for his 23 years of service and wish him the very best in this new chapter of his life. Also, thank you for your service to our country, Dr. Ekval. Cecilia Hines served as Manager of Resources at the Mission del Paso Campus Office of Student Success. Ms. Cecilia Hines began working at El Paso Community College as a work study in Dr. Mitchell's office more than 27 years ago. Since that time, she worked diligently to evaluate the leadership skills, empathy for students, and mentorship that she witnessed and received from her supervisors and fellow colleagues. Ms. Hines obtained an associate's degree from EPCC in 1988, a bachelor's degree in 2002, and a master's degree in 2004. Thanks to the encouragement of her former supervisor, Del Huffam, she continued her education in mathematics so that she could pursue her love of teaching, and began doing so at EPCC in 2012. Cecilia would like to thank all the people who have encouraged and supported her throughout the years: Javier Alcantar, Del Huffam, Joshua Villalobos, Irma Lopez, Dr. Julie Penley, Dr. Lydia Tena, and our current supervisor, Ms. Lucia Rodriguez, and the Office of Student Success staff, Robin Simmons and Irene Escalante, and so many more people. Ms. Cecilia Hines will be missed for her professionalism, friendly, and kind welcome to all who entered the student success space she managed. She will always be remembered for her willingness to always contribute enthusiastically to building our college community. Thank you for your service. Luis Cortinas. Mr. Luis Cortinas, Media Services Assistant, has worked for the Media Services Department for 35 years. When Luis started working for the college in 1985, technology in the classroom meant an overhead projector, the use of transparencies, and a cassette player to record instructor lectures. Luis had the opportunity to work and provide support at all the different campuses throughout his tenure at El Paso Community College, more recently working at the Rio Grande campus. Later, Media Services became part of the Information Technology Division, and the direction for Media Services and support also changed due to evolving technologies. Luis was very instrumental in the conversion of the first smart classrooms throughout the college district and continued to work with different phases of classroom technology during the past several years. At Rio Grande, he assisted many faculty members transition into the use of media cards in smart classrooms. The increased use of technology by faculty and students in the classroom required Luis to become familiar with the different technologies and provide continuous support to instruction, together with supporting student services and the various campus events. Luis always had a positive attitude, and many faculty members commented that he was always helpful and pleasant to work with, always a team player. The decision to retire was not an easy one for Luis because he considered EPCC his family and he enjoyed working with so many of the faculty, staff, and students. Luis's plans for retirement are to spend more time with his family and working on his home projects. On behalf of the college and the Division of Information Technology, we thank Luis for his 35 years of service and best wishes for this new chapter in his life. Ms. Irene del Rio Escalante's work history spans 40 years of service at EPCC. She began her work at EPCC at the Rio Grande campus in December of 1980 as an office clerk for health occupations. Ms. del Rio Escalante worked at the Rio Grande campus from 1981 to 2006 in various positions where she enjoyed helping students, faculty, and the community. Along the way, she earned an associate's degree in education and a certificate in graphic design. In 2006, Ms. Del Rio Escalante moved to the Valle Verde campus, where she has been the administrative office assistant at the Office of Student Success for the last 14 years. Irene found much joy and job satisfaction from making a positive impact every day to help students succeed. Ms. Del Rio Escalante contributed to the college community by participating in committees, including CSA for 10 years, CSA Vice President, Valle Verde Campus, and CSA Pro Tem President. She is appreciated by her colleagues and was named Employee of the Month in February 2010. She was a member of the Leadership Academy class of 2016. Students, faculty, and staff will miss her cheerful, helpful, welcome, and her enthusiastic support. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. Congratulations on your retirement. Sylvia Sestacia. Sylvia Sestacia has worked for EPCC for 43 years. Sylvia started working at Logan Heights in February 1978, what was known as the typing pool. It became the Instructional Services Center, the ISD department, in September 1978, at which time it relocated to the new Valle Verde campus. Sylvia moved to the Rio Grande campus in December 1981. During Sylvia's career with EPCC, she has fulfilled many roles while continuing to work at the ISC. Various responsibilities include, but are not limited to, serving as mail clerk, post box exchange, PBX switchboard operator, and secretary to the Associate Vice President, Auxiliary Services. Sylvia assisted with accreditation for multiple programs offered, including the Joint Review Committee on Education in Diagnostic Medical Sonography and the National League for Nursing Accrediting a Commission Self-Study, and the Texas Board of Nursing Program Information Form for Self-Study. Sylvia assisted the Office of the Vice President for Financial and Administrative Operations and Budget and Financial Services in the publication of the award-winning Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, known as the CAFR, for the past 10 years. Sylvia served as acting manager for the Rio Grande ISC from June 2016 to April 2018. In October 2019, she relocated to the Valle Verde ISC, where she completed her 43rd year at EPCC. Thank you so very much, Sylvia, for your continued dedication to El Paso Community College. Sylvia, we wish you the very best in this new chapter of your life and hope you stay safe and enjoy good health. Donacian Ana Ramirez. Ana started her EPCC career at Logan Heights on June 7, 1976, as the PBX switchboard operator, making $1.20 per hour under the Director of Purchasing Department. She had the opportunity to supervise 2 full-time and 2 part-time operators. In 1977, Ana worked as a mailroom clerk under the supervision of the Director of Purchasing at the Central Services Center until 1978. When the new campuses opened at Valle Verde and Trans Mountain in 1978, the mailroom and Instructional Service Center ISC were merged into one department, and Ana moved to the Valle Verde campus. Later, she was promoted to ISC technician. In 1998, Ana moved to Trans Mountain after drawing the lucky straw and worked with Ms. Maria Suarez. When Ms. Suarez retired in 2018, Ana accepted the position of acting manager for the Northwest and Trans Mountain ISCs, where she supervised 2 full-time and 6 part-time employees along with 5 work studies. Over her career at EPCC, Ana took a class here and there, but credits Mary Suarez with giving her the opportunity to finish an Associate of Applied Science degree in Office Information Systems, Certificate of Completion in Information Systems, Computerized Office Specialist, and a Certificate of Completion in Office Information Clerk, Computerized Office Clerk. Ana volunteered to run the Classified Staff Association craft fairs at Trans Mountain from 2004 to 2010. During that time, she developed the procedures manual for the craft fairs. She mentored 2 workforce development students in 2018 and encouraged them to enroll at EPCC and hired them as work studies. Ana served EPCC for 44 years. She thanks Mr. Juan Flores, Director of Auxiliary Services, and all the leadership team, Mr. Fernie Flores, our Associate Vice President for Budget and Financial Services, and Ms. Josette Shaughnessy, our Vice President for Financial Administrative Operations, for all the opportunities she has had while working as the acting manager at the Trans Mountain and Northwest ISCs. Ana looks forward to enjoying more time with her husband of 44 years, her 2 grown sons, and her 4 grandchildren. Thank you, Ana. We wish you the best in your retirement and hope you stay safe and enjoy good health. And finally, members of the board, I'd like to recognize James Gonzalez, who has taught English at El Paso Community College for 45 years. At EPCC, he met his wife, Teresa Duran, who is also an English teacher. They helped teach each other their classes with heart. Together, they also built up a homestead in the Lower Valley where they raised goats. James continued to teach classes face-to-face until that was no longer possible. He knows that EPCC leaders, faculty, and staff will meet the challenge of delivering instruction with a heart for our students in these challenging times. On behalf of the college, we thank Mr. Gonzalez for his 45 years of service and wish him the best in this new chapter of his life.
Okay, we're going to
Optional written reports submitted by the President of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association will be read at this time. Chair, there have been 2 reports submitted by the Faculty Association and the professional staff. Dear members of the board, the El Paso Community College does a good job. I'm glad and proud on behalf of faculty to say that those words are words that one continually and consistently hears in the El Paso community. And I would like to say that with the support and assistance of administration and staff, the faculty at the college do a good job. The El Paso Community College does a good job. What does that mean? It means that the college does a good job in educating and preparing members of the community, our students, to go on to the university and graduate levels or onto their careers as nurses, mechanics, and other professions. And this, at the ground level, is because of the faculty teaching at the college. One of the many such stories is the story of a young lady who could have started her academic career at any university, but she chose to come to the college because it was less expensive and because the college does a good job. After beginning here at the college, she went on to the local university, obtained her degree, then went on to obtain her master's and doctoral degrees from the University of Texas Health Science Center at the MD Anderson Cancer Research Center. With the education she began here at the college, she then did her postdoctoral at the University of Pennsylvania and was then hired by Merck Pharmaceuticals. Finally, she came back to El Paso as faculty at the Texas Tech Medical School, teaching immunotherapy to the medical students. I know about this story and the truth of it because that young lady is my daughter, and it all started at El Paso Community College. The El Paso Community College does a good job. Recently and presently, the college has had to weather the storm of the current pandemic, and thankfully, up until now, a reduction in force has not had to be felt by full-time faculty, administration, and staff. But because of lower enrollment figures, because of the pandemic, there have been less class offerings, and this has been felt by faculty. Thankfully, not at the full-time levels, but to assist the college tighten its belt, classes have had to be consolidated, resulting in less class offerings for our brothers and sisters at the adjunct level. But as the saying goes, this too shall pass. Faculty have risen to this task and assisted the college in tightening its belt to meet the challenges of the current pandemic. We thank the board and administration for past benefits that have come our way before the current challenges fell upon us all, and as in the past, we ask the college and board to remember this sacrifice when times get better. Finally, when times get better, we ask the board to keep in mind that faculty, like everyone in the community, have families and households to support and maintain. Remember, the El Paso Community College does a good job. I think the college does a great job in preparing our students for their future endeavors, whatever and wherever they may be. Thank you, Rudy Hernandez, President, Faculty Association, Senate. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Sarata, and guests. It has been an honor serving as the PSA President this past year. As my term of office comes to an end, I reflect on and am proud of the legacy that former President Carmen Wages and I leave behind. With the help of PSA officers, members, and the support of the Board of Trustees, PSA continued and successfully accomplished several activities. Following is a list of our current initiatives. Humanitarian Outreach Fund Committee, chaired by Ms. Mari Reyes. This initiative assists PSA members with financial help when faced with emergency circumstances, such as paying medical bills. We fundraise through the sale of VIP cards. The current balance to continue humanitarian outreach is $5,363.99. Keep El Paso Warm, which I currently chair. This is a partnership with the El Paso Sheriff's Department and EPCC Police Department. New blankets are collected to equip the police force with blankets to provide during car accidents and to distribute to the community. This project was supported through a candy sale fundraiser. The current balance to continue keeping El Paso warm is $316.94. Educational Assistance Committee, chaired by Mr. Ismael de la Rosa. We hosted 2 successful karaoke events raising funds for student scholarships. The following scholarships will be awarded through the assistance of the EPCC Foundation. 6 $500 student scholarships and 2 $500 PSA member school scholarships for a total of $4,000. There is a balance of $238.21 to continue supporting educational assistance. 2 fundraising committees chaired by Ms. Grace Arribas and Ms. Martha Arvizo. 1, we fundraise through craft fairs and cabinet sales for special projects such as the Employee of the Year recognition, and 2, for the annual meeting. The current balance for future projects for both committees. The first committee is $1,984.43, and the second is $864.20. Rights and Responsibility Committee, which I currently chair, we are actively involved in revising and establishing new district policies and procedures. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to the current PSA officers, committee chairs, and members at large for this success. We have accomplished a lot together this past year. Throughout these activities, serving as PSA president has been fun, busy, interesting, often challenging, and most importantly, very rewarding. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Andrea Quiroz and Dr. Andrew Pena for their help and guidance. Dr. Quiroz, our PSA liaison, supported our initiatives and became my mentor. I appreciate her kind words of encouragement. Dr. Pena provided advocacy and was a champion for running and holding effective PSA meetings. I appreciate his time spent meeting with me on a regular basis. As the coming fiscal year begins, please help me welcome the new PSA officers. President, Ms. Grace Arribas, Treasurer, Ms. Emma Hernandez, and Secretary, Ms. Sabrina Campbell. In closing, I would like to express sincere thanks to our EPCC Board of Trustees and Dr. Sarata for your continued support of our PSA initiatives. I feel proud of and thank our officers, committee chairs, and members for their support and for allowing me to serve as the PSA president. I am sincerely grateful for a very productive year, and I look forward to seeing what PSA will continue to accomplish in the future. Thank you and have a great evening. Arlene Alakan, PSA outgoing president. That is it.
Okay, 1.8, communications none.
Okay. Would you like me to read the first two items or just wait until the executive session?
Well, I think we need to make a motion to move into executive session.
Item 1.9.1, discussion and possible action regarding lawsuit style Rhonda Brown versus El Paso County Community College District, cause number 2020 DC 1845 in the County Court of Law number 3 of El Paso County, Texas.
I moved item 1.9.1 and 1.9.2 last session.
Second.
Want to go ahead and read what we did?
Item 1.9.2, discussion and action to authorize the president to execute all necessary contracts for the college to purchase from Bank Financial Partners, LP, an approximately 13.143 acre tract of real estate located northeast of the Mission Del Paso campus and adjacent to the east side of the driveway entrance.
And we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez. Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. 1.9.3.
Item 1.9.3, discussion and action regarding changing the Board of Trustees meeting dates for the period of September through December 2020.
I'd like to make a motion to change the dates for September, October, November to the last Tuesday of the month of each month.
I move to approve.
Any discussion?
And the last Tuesday of the month, sir?
Last Tuesday of each month of September, October, November.
The last 3 months.
Doesn't include December, it's just September, October, and November.
We'll discuss December when we get closer to December. Is there any other questions? If no questions, call the question.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez. Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Dr. Graham. Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.10, board report. Item 1.10.1, treasurer's report, July 31st, 2020. No action is necessary. Item 1.10, president's report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. William Sarata, college president, will update the board of trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college to include an update on the COVID-19 pandemic and appropriate actions taken.
Chair Haggerty, members of the board, a brief update. Since our last board meeting, which was held on July 29th, I've been privy to attend and participate in over 80 virtual meetings and calls, including presiding over the American Association of Community Colleges board retreat, which was virtual. Normally it's in Pentagon City. We've had 4 statewide transfer meetings. These are meetings that were appointed by the Texas Higher Education Commissioner Keller in order to facilitate transfer amongst the 50 community colleges and 37 public universities in the state of Texas. We've attended 8 Texas Association of Community College meetings, including 2 300 by 300. Those are 300,000 jobs in 300 days meetings that we're facilitating for the state of Texas. 1 CEO, CFO meeting, 1 TAC officer's call, and 4 TAC COVID-19 meetings. I participated in the Greater Texas Foundation Post-Secondary Research Virtual Summit, and I was proud to tape a welcome back message for Fabian's ISD. I would like to update the board of trustees on major purchases that the colleges recently acquired. It was necessary to place these purchases as soon as possible to have the equipment prior to the start of the fall semester. Authority for this purchase was granted by the Board of Resolution, which was extended through December 31st, 2020 by the Board of Trustees in May of this year. To date, I've approved the purchase of 150 Decision Tree laptops, 1,303 Dell laptops, and 500 hotspots, in addition to other supporting technology needs that have to date totaled $2,262,291.69. The vast majority of this will be utilized through the CARES Act resources that the college has received through the federal government Department of Education. The cabinet and I are committed to providing our students and employees the latest updates on the college's path forward as we embark on the new normal in light of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Safe Campus Task Force has taken diligent steps to ensure the well-being of individuals on campus, as well as have a plan in place to address any possible exposures, safety protocols, including social distancing, the use of face coverings, increased cleaning and disinfecting, along with other measures that continue to be implemented. We continue to monitor the progression of COVID-19 in our community carefully and adjust our safety practices for on-site classes as necessary. As we continue to monitor this data, Chair Haggerty and members of the board, you have all distributed the same information. So since our board meeting in June, we have been tracking cases. The 2 weeks beginning June 26th that ended July 9th, we saw 3,401 positive cases in our community. Then July 10th through July 23rd, that number rose to 4,116. Hence, a return in late June was not possible. We then moved our return to look at a possibility of August, early August, which again, this would be phase 1 of the 6-phase approach, which would constitute 25% of our staff returning to campus. July 24th through August 6th, we did see that number decline down to 3,095. But again, that was beyond the early August date. So we then reported to the board that we would look at the Tuesday after Labor Day, which is September the 7th. Our count from August 7th through August 20th, unfortunately, rose once again. So we went up to 3,136 cases that were reported. We are currently in day 5 of this case, of this 2 weeks, which started August 21st. We will continue to monitor that and look at how much positivity rates we have. It appears that this 14-day window will be lower. We're obviously continuing to monitor that, and our best thought is that remained the case. Should that occur, that 14-day window will end on September 3rd and would be right prior to the Tuesday after Labor Day. I would ask the board for guidance on whether we call an emergency meeting to determine if that count continues to fall. That would be September 8th is the Tuesday after Labor Day. In addition to the number of positive cases, we're also looking at the overall positivity rate, which continues to be over 9% for our community. The experts, the CDC's plan says that anything that's under 10% is acceptable. However, we've seen this benchmark move and other agencies looking at 5% total positivity rate. In addition, we're looking at the 7-day rolling day average, which continues to decline as well, fortunately. And we're seeing that currently that 7-day average is at 5.56%. Again, the goal is that that be at 5. So what I present to you is that we're looking at two of the measures that appear to be within the range to be able to bring back phase 1. The 7-day average appears that it will decline below 5% and the total 14-day downward trajectory. That would be 2 out of the 3 metrics that we're measuring consistently. The one metric that does not appear to be where we would like it to be is the cumulative positivity rate, which is still over 9%. However, it continues to fall.
This is for the employees.
This is for the phase 1 employees to come back. That would be 25%. So I'll give an example. In the president's office suite, we have approximately 7 employees that are part of this office. So if we did 25%, we would look at 2, which would be me and either Pam or Bell, or alternating between Pam and Bell returning to the suite. Every other office that are deemed essential would be looking at 25%. Again, 2 of the 3 metrics that we are following are appearing to head in the right direction.
But you say that would be around the 25th.
So right now, Chair Haggerty, what we're looking at is this 2-week trend that we're currently following would end on September 3rd. And we had initially recommended to the board in July that we look at the Tuesday after Labor Day, which would be September 8th. So I can either send the board the information electronically and ask for the board for guidance, or we can set up an emergency meeting, even if it's a telephonic meeting, much like this one, to deem the board's guidance on whether we have that first phase 1, which would be 25%. Again, we're measuring Dr. Pena and others that are leading the Safe Campus Return Task Force, the Safe Campus Task Force rather, continue to monitor this data. We're seeing that 2 of those 3 data marks are appearing to be in the right direction. The third, we would feel more comfortable if it was down to 5%, but the CDC guidelines indicate that it's under 10%, and which would appear that we're meeting all 3 of those metrics. So I would look to guidance from the board.
Dr. Serrata, this is Carmen Graham. Do we have safety measures in place, and can you speak to that if we were to bring 25% of the staff back? And you're not talking about bringing students.
No.
Right?
We're not talking about bringing, great point, Dr. Graham. We're not talking about bringing our faculty that are approximately 92% of our courses are virtual. The majority virtual environment will continue for our coursework. There are some CTE lab-intensive courses that require hands-on that we would turn around and that we're continuing to bring in smaller groups. So the vast majority of our faculty as well as our students will remain in a virtual environment. This would be the first phase of staff returning to campus, which we've developed a 6-phase approach, which starts in percentages, 25% of the staff rather. Then it would jump to 40%, 50, 60, 75, and then finally 90 to 100%, depending on a widely available vaccine that would be available to all communities. We do have we've implemented a significant number of measures with our partnership with Olympus that continues to disinfect, continues to sterilize areas of the institution. We have placed the appropriate barriers where we believe there would be heavy traffic. Again, it would be a quarter, 25% of staff. We will continue to monitor. We're not ready to make that recommendation. However, as I indicated, 2 of the 3 metrics appear to be headed in the right direction. And even that third metric that we would like to see at 5%, the CDC guidelines on that metric are actually 10%. And so we are actually meeting what the CDC indicates right now. However, experts have come out on returns to schools that they're saying they really would like to see it at 5%. We have seen, and we're leery, and the safety and security of our faculty, staff, and students is paramount. We've seen returns to campuses, for instance, in North Carolina, as well as Notre Dame, and even now the University of Alabama, that have seen significant flare-ups on returning to campus. So we will monitor the data, and we will continue to provide the board. So what I'd ask today is that the board provide me guidance on whether I update the board electronically, or we hold a teleconference call with the board to be able to, and I know legal counsel on the line, I know Mr. Ortega's on the line, to provide us additional guidance on whether we're ready to start that phase 1, which is 25%. And so an office that had 10 people, only between 2 and 3 people would be eligible to return. It doesn't mean they return every day. They would return for part of the week. We will work with supervisors to determine what that schedule is. So
why don't you just give us an update on September 3rd?
Will do.
At that time, we can decide if we want to call a special meeting.
Will do.
Everything goes again.
And that certainly is one of our concerns. We would have to average, right now, we'd have to average about 285 cases a day between August 26th and September 3rd. Now, within the plan as well, if we see 5 days of continuous rising, then that also ratchet us back to the previous phase.
Yeah, just notify us on the
Yes, sir.
Dr. Schroeder?
Yes, sir, Mr. Exer.
Would you, I mean, if we're going to start thinking about moving people up, would you be able to discuss the rationale for why the procedure is to go from incremental percentages? I mean, if we're going to open it up, and I presume that the process would include testing on a reasonable schedule, that is temperature and all that business every day when people come, why ratchet up incrementally? What benefit does that really accrue to us, number one? And number two, you identified all of the outbreaks on those other university campuses, and if I'm not mistaken, those occurred with student parties as opposed to faculty and staff coming on board. Would that be correct?
That is correct, Mr. Exer. You and I are reading the same reports. We continue to see student behavior and students congregating in, for lack of a better word, in social settings.
We're not talking about bringing students back incrementally. We're just talking about the faculty and the staff. So what's the relevance of student congregation at other universities versus us bringing faculty and staff at a greater rate?
It's a great point. Let me clarify that at this point, we're only talking about staff. Our faculty are going to continue to teach remotely. There will be faculty that are already returning that are in the hands-on, the CTE, career technology education courses that are coming back and with students in smaller groups, lab-intensive courses, clinicals, for instance. But the vast majority of our faculty will remain in a virtual environment. This would be the staff, Mr. Exer, and you're correct. And the reason the plan that the staff, the campus task force, Safe Campus Task Force developed, and I was involved in that as well, was a phased approach, much to the guidance that CDC had put out initially, Mr. Exer, was looking at phases. You'll recall that Governor Abbott, as well as other executives throughout the state, looked at 25%, 50%, 75%, and then ultimately 100%. We got to 75%, as you'll recall, and then we were ratcheted back to 50% across the state. So even the state currently, Mr. Exer, is operating at 50% of businesses, 50% of restaurants that have outdoor seating, things of that nature. So our phase took it a little further. We actually have 6 phases. And so this first phase would be in line with the 25% that the state looked at and that the CDC recommended. We just broke ours up into further phases, Mr. Uxer, given the consideration of the flu season, as well as the, unfortunately, we never settled. We're finally starting to see it settle. The resurgence that was prognosticated by experts across the nation. So you're correct, sir. We're looking at the phase 1, which would be 25%.
So in the end, ultimately, really, it turns out that the rationale for phasing this stuff in really is because we're doing it because other people have said, that is, CDC and the government have said this is the way to go, as opposed to us actually being able to develop a reasoned rationale on our own basis.
So yes and no. So you're correct. We're following many of the guidelines that the federal government and as well as the governor's office put out in the Reopen Texas plan, in addition to looking at the different areas of the state and what we're seeing throughout the field and ratcheting back to those timeframes. Following a phased approach, Mr. Uxer. So yes, we're following others' guidelines, but yes, we've also been very specific to tailor it to the college. Again, the social distancing, if you look at the office setup, you have some offices, I'll give examples, the financial aid office, which we have a significant number of staff that are in close proximity and cannot adhere to social distancing guidelines that have been laid out by the federal government as well as state agencies. That's one of the reasons that we looked at a phased approach. The guidance that we've received from the board, Chair Haggerty, what we'll do is we will continue to monitor until September the 3rd. And we need days to come back. And so it's not like September the 4th, we turn around and say, okay, we're ready. So we'll provide the board with an update of where we are and then provide the board with a date right around that time frame. It may be a little later than September 8th that we look at the first. Again, I want everyone listening, in particular, our faculty will remain in a majority virtual environment. This would be 25% of what we deem as core essential services. We will not be open to the public. We will be on campus adhering to the public's needs through email, through phone, et cetera. We can, Judge, but we're going to continue. We do also see the need to start to look at that return to campus, but we'll look at the data. We will provide the board with an update and then turn around and schedule a meeting if we see that necessary.
And in your meetings, because that's past history, how do you determine who comes back?
We leave that up to the respective, to the vice presidents, and then to the deans, and then to the directors in their respective areas. And so we ask that they work very closely with Dr. Pena and Human Resources to, if we do have individuals that are at risk, that those individuals not be included in that first 25%. If we have individuals that have underlying health conditions, we have gone through Human Resources and those have been identified, and those supervisors have worked with HR to ensure that they're not in those first 25%. So again, this would be in strict accordance with the plan that's been developed, and that plan has been informed by the CDC as well as the state.
That's been disseminated.
It is consistent. It is consistent.
I mean, everybody knows what the 6 stages.
They do. They do know the 6 stages of that and what is those percentages, as I indicated, and the dates. If we start in September, then that will go through the end of October. Then on November 1st, if the data supports us, then we start the next phase, which would go to 40%. And that goes in through the end of the fall term. On the return of January, if we continue to see that downward trajectory of cases, then we turn around and look at 50%. We continue. If we unfortunately see a rise, we revert back to the previous phase. So we've got a very detailed plan. We'll continue to monitor it. It is a living plan. We will continue to monitor it, the data, and if we see things change under the guidance of Dr. Pena and the Safe Campus Task Force, We will then go from there, and if we need to ratchet it back, we will keep the board informed. On September the 3rd, we will turn around and provide the board with an update of where we are and a recommendation on whether we need a meeting with legal counsel's guidance on that as well.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
If things continue improving and you are bringing staff back, that 25%, are you prepared with with your supervisor's schedule, so who's coming back so that you would notify the staff that are going to be supposed to come back?
We would, Dr. Graham. Yes, we would, and that again would go through the appropriate vice president down to the deans and or directors into the appropriate supervisors, but yes, ma'am. Now let me share some good news from the college as well, Chair Haggerty. I want to congratulate 2 of our El Paso Community College Tejano Empowerment Network students, the 10. That's Jonathan Hinojos and Jaime Gutierrez. They participated in the Texas Male Student Leadership Summit Remix on Thursday, August 13th. The Texas Education Consortium for Male Students of Color hosted the virtual summit, which took the place of the usual in-person summit hosted by the University of Texas at Austin every summer. Jonathan and Jaime were invited to participate in the summit and shared words of hope and inspiration for their fellow students. Dr. Carlos Amaya, our Dean of Architecture, Arts, Math, and Science, is proud to share that both students did an excellent job representing El Paso Community College. The Contract Opportunity Center staff has continued to provide technical assistance to our clients and business community remotely via telephone, email, and virtually. They have conducted 114 counseling sessions with 59 clients, and 19 of those clients have been awarded 37 awards, totaling $17,850,608, creating or retaining 372 jobs. Thank you to Mr. Pablo Armendariz, our COC director, and his team for the great work and impact that you have with our business community, including in this new virtual environment. Connecting the Dots, a district-wide training and gathering of EPCC tutors and academic support staff was successfully held online last week on August 20th and 21st. This year's theme was 2020 Vision, Equity Matters. The collective goal for this session was to provide students with what they need to succeed and deliver a supportive, engaging learning environment. The Student Success Department participants shared lessons learned and best practices to help students succeed both fully online and in hybrid formats. Thank you to Director Lucia Rodriguez and her team for all their efforts geared toward our student success goals. Our Culinary Arts program continues their great work and community service. Chef Share 2.0 started the first week of July. They successfully produced and either delivered or made available for pickup approximately 200 meals to students and their families throughout the community. This was a continuation of the initial Chef Share that began in April and served approximately 600 meals. The program will form a central pillar for the hands-on experiential learning required for students' capstone courses. Dean Rick Webb and the Culinary Arts program faculty, staff, and students, your work and efforts are much appreciated. Chair Haggerty and members of the board, that concludes my report.
Item 1.11, that docket. This includes item 3.2.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call, please.
Mr. Uchter.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
La mejor defensa es un buen ataque.
Lo que acaba de hacer, un poco al
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nájera.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 2.0, administration. Item 2.1.1, discussion and action on the approval of El Paso Community College's 2021 through 2025 strategic plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion, sir, but I'd like to compliment Dr. Pinley. I think is the one that worked on capturing what we were saying at the time that we discussed it, stuff. We, of course, will be anxiously waiting for the measurables so that we can make sure that they're attainable and that we accomplish everything we set out to do on this strategic plan. But it is a very, very nice roadmap.
Any other discussion on this item? Call the question.
Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 3.1, discussion and action to approve full-time staff and faculty recruited in positions funded by the institutional budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 3.3, discussion and action on the appointment of new tenured faculty, reappointment of continuing probationary faculty, and authorization for the president to enter into written employment contract and contract addenda for the 2020 to 2021 academic year with tenured and probationary faculty members.
Move to approve, and I do have a question.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay.
Dr. Serrata, are these continuing probationary faculty and new tenure? So the continuing probationary, these are staff members that are already here.
These are faculty members that are already employed, correct?
The new tenure,
Those are faculty members that were in the process and that successfully garnered tenure.
but they were already.
They were already employed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda, Ms. Naheda, Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 3.4, discussion and action of the reappointment of continuing regular classified staff, professional staff, and administrative staff, and authorization for the president to enter into written employment agreements effective September 1, 2020 with the employees listed.
Move to approve.
Second, and I have a question.
What's your question?
On the administrative staff employee agreement, did we move away from the word contract to agreement? Were they not contracts in the past?
They were. I'll ask legal counsel, Mr. Ortega, if you're on the line. I don't recall that we shifted those.
Dr. Serrata, my apologies. I couldn't quite hear Trustee
Graham.
Graham. I couldn't hear her.
I was just asking if on page 40, the administrative staff employee agreement, my question is, did we move away from the word contract and use the word agreement, and is there a difference?
I don't know if we made a change from contract to agreement, but materially there wouldn't be a substantive or material difference between alternating the word contract for agreement.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Doctor,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Dr. Grant?
Aye.
Nahara?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 3.5, authorization for the president to employ part-time faculty and staff for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uchter?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez? Robles?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Nahara?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 3.6, information items, resignations and retirements. No action is necessary.
Judge, I'd like to make a comment on that. This is on the retirements, and I just wanted to, we have quite a few people. I wanted on behalf of the board to thank all of you for the retirees, for all the work that you have done in the college. We are so very proud of the legacy that we have built together, and your work and dedication has made that happen. So thank you again. In mind that as retirees, we have a special association that you can join, and you can come and visit with your peers when this COVID pandemic is hopefully over, so you can regroup with your college family. Keep in mind that we now need you, the college needs you as recruiters to reach our goals of empowering our communities to continue building a college-going culture that you all have helped to get going. So thank you again on behalf of the board.
Anybody else?
Item 4.1, discussion and action on the approval of a contract award to USI Southwest Incorporated for commercial property and inland marine, automobile, crime, crisis management, general umbrella, law enforcement, cybersecurity, school board legal liability, and employment practices liability insurance in an amount not to exceed $799,272.
Move to approve, and I have a question.
I second.
What's your question, Dr.?
What this inland marine is, somebody could explain it.
I believe this is sort of in Dr. Brown. I believe inland marine is insurance that covers items that the college owns that are movable or in transit between campuses or maybe not between campuses. Things that are moving that are owned by the college.
My other question is, you have an option here for the extended, let's see, it's on the first, on the fourth paragraph, kind of in the middle, your community college rights to purchase the 1-year extended reporting period endorsement. That not be a good option to consider, or was it already considered and decided again?
Dr. Graham, I couldn't quite hear your question. I believe you're asking about the extension of 1 year through our current insurance, Stratford and Western World. We have that policy gives us the right to buy an extension, a 1-year extension, actually an up to 3-year extension, but we're recommending a 1-year extension. That would protect us if something had happened or allegedly happened before August 31st of this year, in other words, in the current period, and some of the college knew about it, but it hadn't gone through the whole process, our new insurance may not cover it. But this extension would require that the old insurance consider it under the terms and hopefully cover it. And we're recommending, if you see on page 62, we're recommending that optional extension be purchased, $44,510. But it is listed as a separate line item, and that's why the amount is listed on the first page, on page 61, as not to exceed. So if the board requires us not to exercise that, we definitely will not.
Are you comfortable that 1 year will be enough?
Yes, ma'am. That was after consulting with Dr. Pena, and I believe, and Rosemary Marin, our attorney who deals with such matters. And I believe Dr. Pena also consulted with Ms. Milena Field. And we feel that 1 year is sufficient. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my other question, and it will be the last one, is on page 63 at the bottom, where you have buying down the deductible. But that's the optional coverage.
I couldn't quite get the question. Are you asking about the buying down the deductible on the bottom of page 63?
Yes, that's correct. I was just asking because we've had so many issues with the, some of the problems that buildings have had. Are you comfortable that we don't need to buy the buy down? We don't need to purchase that buy down option?
So with insurance, as we know, it's all a gamble. You're gambling on whether or not there's going to be a hail or windstorm of sufficient magnitude to offset that additional $441,000. And by the way, the item this month does not include that. We wanted to bring it to your attention in case the board thinks that it's a good idea to pursue this. And if that's the case, we would bring it to you next month. We can still purchase it next month according to our insurance agent. It's always a gamble. So the loss would have to be on buildings whose value is approximately $47 million. So if you look right above that, I give you the approximate cost rounded to the nearest $1 million of the master plan projects. So you can even the largest one, which is Rio Grande, is only $29 million. So the hail event would have to affect several buildings at a campus, like let's say Valle Verde. It would have to affect a large new building and several other buildings for it to total $47 million, not in damage, but the building value of the roofs that are damaged would have to be $47 million or more in order to offset that additional $441,000. Our insurance agent would say, yes, a hailstorm could definitely hit, and it could be strong enough and of sufficient duration to affect the entire campus. He reminded us that historically, and historically doesn't mean anything when it comes to weather, but historically, most of the losses have been on the lower valley, in the lower valley or far east area, which would mean the Valle Verde and the Mission del Paso campuses. It's a gamble, Dr. Graham. An additional $441,000 is a lot of money to pay if there's no hail event. But on the other hand, if we don't buy it and there is, and there's sufficient damage, we would be responsible for the deductible. All of the local school districts are facing the same decisions, by the way.
So we've gone back and forth on this, and just based on the recommendation, we feel that this is the best direction for the college to go. It is.
Take a chance and hopefully we don't get that
severe of hail.
Okay.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uchter,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Ms. Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.2, discussion and action on the sole source procurement of advertising services from various radio stations for fiscal year 2020, 2021 in an amount not to exceed $200,000 annual aggregate.
Move to approve 4.2 through 4.5. This is John.
Johnny Nájera, second.
Okay, then we need.
I have a question.
You want me to read first?
4.3, 4.4, and 4.5.
Item 4.3, discussion and action on the sole source procurement of advertising services from various TV stations for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 in an amount not to exceed $180,000 annual aggregate. Item 4.4, discussion and action on the sole source procurement of district-wide advertising services with several publication vendors for fiscal year 2020, 2021 in an amount not to exceed $150,000 annual aggregate. Item 4.5, discussion and action on the sole source procurement of outdoor billboard advertising services from Clear Channel Outdoor for fiscal year 2020, 2021 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 annual aggregate.
What's your question, Mr. Archer?
Okay, first of all, let me say that I will vote to approve all of that, and I understand why that we need to separate this into 4 separate motions. However, that said, I'm curious, do we actually have, and I believe all of them are good and valid, but do we have actual quantified results indicating the performance or the effectiveness of these particular advertising estimates?
Hi, this is Carrie Moe. So we do tracking. We, especially with our digital media buys, we're able to measure click-through rates. We are able to see the number of viewers. So we do have methods for, in addition, amounts that are listed there, we don't spend that full amount. Our entire advertising budget is around $300. And we adjust how much we spend in each area based on back we're getting on effectiveness and change it accordingly.
Okay, that sounds great. I'm just curious, can we make a rough estimate of saying X number of dollars improves enrollment X%? That'd be difficult, but you took stat as part of your program. Tell me what you think.
There are ways we can do that, especially with the digital advertising or like billboards. It's a little bit different. We can calculate and estimate how many viewers saw it. Some ads are designed to directly affect enrollment. Others are for awareness of our programs among the general population of voters. So there's a combination of purposes we use for advertising, and it's all measured in different ways.
Okay, let me repeat again that I'm all for this, and I'll vote for all of it. I think it's a good idea. I was just curious if we were actually able to what extent we could actually quantify in the results. But I think that's no reason to either discontinue or to limit it in any degree. If we don't do it, nobody will know we're here.
Well, there was a time when we didn't do it, so I would advise that we vote for this.
Hello, this is Ms. Pina. I want to just add a little bit to when it comes to the advertising. Now with all these new buildings and new classrooms and everything that that we're opening, don't you think it will be? This is like the right time, especially to advertise everything that we are, that we have to offer on the billboards. I hear that, comments that it's, the signs or the billboards that we have, they're kind of, like outdated. Don't you think that adding to what Dr. Grant was saying about how we're gonna let the people out there of everything that EPCC is doing and it has to offer, and like based on my experience of the facilities that I visited in the past, I mean, it does make you uh, go back to school and you know that take advantage of these facilities, especially right now that the high schools, all the high schools are getting kind of like a you know a lift or updated in technology and everything. We want to make sure that the graduates from high school, they know that EPCC is doing everything possible to provide you know the resources for them to continue at the EPCC level, and not saying, oh, my high school was better than EPCC. I mean, we need to let them know, we need to advertise, and I think right now is the time to showcase everything that you know that EPCC is doing in each one of the campuses. You know, that's one of the things that I would like to see, and you know, like I said, showcase what you know what it's going on right now at EPCC.
That is a fantastic recommendation, Ms. Pina, and that is definitely something we will be doing right now. Since students are on the campuses, the data and the national marketing trends show that's not the most effective way to reach students, but as soon as students are back on our campuses, we will be doing more, and it'll also give us a chance to get footage of students using those facilities. That is definitely something we will be doing, and a very great point.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we need to showcase everything that you know that we have to offer, and that you know that we have what they're looking for too, and hopefully they will come, you know, and help us with the enrollment and everything, so they can see that they don't have to go straight to UTEP, that they can save you know quite some money starting at EPCC and then eventually transfer to the university based on the programs that we offer.
That is absolutely right.
Thank you.
Ms. Karen, my other question is, are we including the courier on these?
Are we doing, yes, so you'll see that reflected. If you look at the sole source documents, the courier and other publications where we spend 10,000, they are listed there, but since they are under the threshold, we don't have them listed as a sole source. And as a matter of fact, we were just, there was a front page story on the courier this past week, and we do advertise with them as well as some of the other smaller publications, such as the Fort Bliss, as well as some of the stadium advertising we do with SISD, some of the other high schools, EPISD. Those are also advertising avenues that we pursue, but they just don't fall under the requirement for sole source.
And what about the college, you know, the TV station here? What are we doing with that? Because are we maximizing the use of that as an advertising tool? Because they could do English and Spanish. There's such a great potential there. Are we really using it?
Yeah.
If not,
Dr. Giron has been and her team have been fantastic partners. They are airing all of our advertisements regularly. The Spanish commercial that is on right now that's airing on Univision, that was produced by EPCC TV. So we do have a partnership, and they are definitely also using their airtime to reach members of our community with our commercials and other promotions.
I would like to see, Dr. Serrata, a schedule of what they're showing and when, because, you know, if there was a lot of stuff going on that TV station, we'd be hearing about it in the community. I don't hear anything about it.
We will get that, no worries.
You know, but that's a facility that should be maximized to the highest level that we can. It would be more cost effective. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Usher,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Roper,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Haggerty. You said yes. Item 4.6, discussion and action on the approval to award a contract with Spectrum Paper Company Incorporated to provide copy paper to the instructional service centers and academic computing services labs for the fiscal year 2020-2021 in an amount not to exceed $95,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Usher,
Aye.
Sanchez, Ms. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.7, discussion and action on the acceptance of the 2020 certified appraisal roll with a net taxable value of property within the El Paso County Community College District of $46,132,957,226 as established by the Central Appraisal District. There is also an order that Ms. Shaughnessy has asked that I read. Would you like me to read that before the motion or after the motion, Mr. Howe?
Go ahead and read it.
Order accepting certified appraisal roll. Whereas the Board of Trustees of said district desire that the appraisal roll for the district for the 2020 tax year be accepted and approved. Therefore, be it ordered by the Board of Trustees of the El Paso County Community College District that the appraisal roll for the district for the 2020 tax year be accepted as approved by the 2020 Appraisal Review Board and certified by the Chief Appraiser as follows. Net taxable value, $46,132,957,226.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham, Ms. Naheda, Ms. Naheda,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 4.8, discussion and action on the adoption of the 2020-2021 fiscal year operating budget of $138,194,721.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, just thank you for all the work that was put into this and presented to the board on several occasions. I think they did an awesome job educating us on where the pennies are going.
I believe Ms. Shaughnessy also had a review that she was going to go over with you all. That necessary? Okay. Did you want anything? All right. Item 4.9, discussion and action.
They haven't voted.
Oh, sorry.
Call the question.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Chair Haggerty, let me thank the board for all the diligence on the budget. Also, Ms. Shaughnessy, Mr. Flores, Ms. Thayer, all of their team, but the college as a whole. This budget is significantly less than last year's budget. This budget last year, this current year, we're operating a $145.5 million budget. You'll notice that this is $138,200,000, approximately $200,000 budget. We worked very hard as a whole, the college as a whole, to make sure we have a balanced budget to present to you, the board of trustees. It is based on a potential 20% enrollment decline for the fall and 95% tax collection. I would report to you that as of this morning, our enrollment was approximately 10% down. We're continuing to work on that enrollment daily. We did extend enrollment through August 31st, as well as the payment deadline to August 28th. So we do know some students are still working on payment arrangements, so that 10% probably will grow, but we'll continue to enroll students this first week of class. Kudos to our faculty who have supported this. And we'll also be looking at the mini-mester, second mini-mester, to continue to add to our enrollment, which continues to get stronger daily. But we are anticipating we pass that budget based on that. So many thanks to the Board of Trustees for your support and leadership on this budget.
And I'd also like to point out to the taxpayers of the college district that the tax rate dropped from a little over 14 cents per hundred down to 13 cents, 13.9. So there is a drop in the percentage of the tax rate for the taxpayers in the county. So again, hats off to the team. Good job.
And Dr. Zarata, congratulations on working hard to get those numbers.
Better. They're not where we want them yet, Dr. Graham, but they continue to get better. So.
I hope that staff realize that, if we manage to get more people, then the budgets will look better. If we don't get more people enrolled, then the budgets will not get any better. And it affects us for 2 years, right?
It does, yes, ma'am.
So that's why everybody in the college that's employed at the college needs to be an active recruiter of students.
Item 4.9, discussion and action on the adoption of the 2020-2021 auxiliary fund budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Ropez,
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
I have a question. I'll wait.
Okay. It's not
With the voting.
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Dr. Graham has a comment.
Just clarification on the page 105, where you have the Fiscal Commission. Down because of course we don't have. But I was surprised that the Fiscal Commission went up. So how did that happen?
It's guaranteed. I'll let Michelle.
Dr. Graham, I am so sorry, but you were breaking up, and so I did not hear the entire question. Would you please repeat?
Ms. Shaughnessy, the Pepsi, if you look at our auxiliary budget on page 105, each of our budgeted items went down with the exception of the Pepsi Cola Commission, which went up. Can you just clarify the cost?
Absolutely. We have a very good reason for that. So under the contract with Pepsi Cola, we do get a partnership, an annual partnership a stipend that is on an annual basis. And what we've done in the past is we have shared that with the athletic fund. But in light of the athletic fund getting additional revenue through additional tuition increase that is being allocated for their operation, we decided that the auxiliary fund was more in need of that partnership stipend from Pepsi. So that is the reason why you see a higher amount here. In the past, we split $80-some thousand between the auxiliary fund and the athletic fund 50-50. And here we are basically saying we're allocating the entire amount to the auxiliary fund.
Okay, so it's not that we sold more Pepsi.
No.
Well, unfortunately, the commissions are reduced down, but it is being made up by that partnership stipend that is being allocated to the auxiliary fund instead of going to the athletic fund. And Mr. Hinojosa is very much aware of that and understood.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome.
Item 4.10, discussion and action on the adoption of the order and the certificate of order setting the tax rate of $0.139859 per $100 valuation for fiscal year 2020-2021. And there is another certificate that has to be read. The order setting the tax rate, whereas the Board of Trustees of said district has received, accepted, and approved the certified appraisal roll for the 2020 tax year, and whereas the district has calculated those tax rates and made such other calculations as required by law, and whereas the Board of Trustees of said district wishes to adopt a tax rate, therefore be it ordered by the Board of Trustees of the El Paso County Community College District that the no new revenue tax rate for the district for the 2020 tax year be set and adopted in accordance with Chapter 26 of the Texas Tax Code entitled Property Tax Code as follows. No new revenue tax rate, $0.139859 per $100 valuation. Total, $0.139859 per $100 valuation.
Any questions, Dr.?
No questions. I'd just like for you to reinforce the fact that we are not increasing tax rates at EPCC.
This is exactly what I just mentioned previously. Again, a good job to you, Dr. Surratt, and your team.
Thank you, Judge.
Any other questions?
Maybe the newspaper will pick up on that.
Call the question.
I move to approve.
Second.
I thought we got it. Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 5.1, discussion and action on the approval of expenditures with various vendors to purchase building materials, supplies, and/or services as needed for the district for fiscal year 2020-2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.1, discussion and action on the approval of a grant from the Texas Workforce Commission, TWC, credit for HEROES program in the amount of $172,500.
Move to approve 6.1 and 6.2.
Second.
Can you read 6.2, please, Beth?
Item 6.2, discussion and action on the approval of a grant from the American Library Association on census equity in the amount of $2,000.
Any questions on any of these items?
I just have one question on 6.1. How come it's gonna take a whole year to get this through?
Dr. Graham, this is Steve Smith. The whole thrust of the grant is something called competency-based education. So the first year is going to have to be the conversion and planning of converting the curriculum to a competency-based education format. And so that's why it'll take a little bit longer that first year than implementing it the second year.
But Mr. Smith, a whole year?
Yeah, that's the way we built that into the grant. In addition, we're going to bring on a instructional designer to assist the faculty in that conversion. So I'm afraid it will take a little bit longer.
I mean, I think it's awesome and long overdue, but I wish it could be done yesterday.
I certainly hear you, Dr. Graham. And while I have the mic, if you wouldn't mind me taking a moment of privilege and thanking Dean Maisha Pagel for the incredible work that she's been doing, along with the grants office, Bob Elliott and his crew. They've done a great job in procuring these kinds of grants for our future students.
Great. Are we going to advertise them?
Yes, ma'am.
In the military newspaper?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. You guys did an awesome job with that.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uchter,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Yes.
Ms. Nahara, Ms. Nahara, Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 7.0, student services none. Item 8.0, community services none.
Executive.
At this time, the Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code and for one or more of the following reasons. Consultation with its attorney to seek or receive legal advice or consultation about litigation authorized by law. Discussion about the value or transfer of property. Discussion about a prospective gift or donation. Consideration of specific personnel matters. Discussion about security personnel or devices, or discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on the agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Discussion of lawsuit styled Rhonda Brown versus El Paso County Community College District, cause number 2020 DCD 1845 in the County Court of Law number 3 of El Paso County, Texas, pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Discussion regarding the negotiation for the college to purchase from Frank Financial Partners, LP, an approximately 13.143 acre tract of real estate located northeast of the Mission Del Paso campus and adjacent to the east side of the driveway entrance, pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. The time is now 6:34. The board is in executive session.
I remind the board members on the line to please call the executive session meeting number. And I would imagine that the board will start in approximately 5 minutes in that executive session.
Okay, we're back in session for the El Paso Community College Board of Trustees. Pam, take a roll, please. Take the roll.
They're trying to get.
Well, leave her till the end. Yeah, leave her till the end.
Oh, okay. Mr. Uchter,
Present.
Ms. Sanchez. Okay. Mrs. Robles.
Aye. Present.
Dr. Graham. Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena. She's not on yet. Ms. Pena is trying to connect, so she'll join us in a moment. Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Okay, we'll go ahead, item 1.9.1, no action necessary. Could you read 1.9.2?
Item 1.9.2, discussion and action to authorize the president to execute all necessary contracts for the college to purchase from Frank Financial Partners, LP, an approximately 13.143 acre tract of real estate located northeast of the Mission Del Paso campus and adjacent to the east side of the driveway entrance.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uchter.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez is not on the line. Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara. Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Ms. Pena. No. Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. And to let everyone know, our next board meeting will be on September the 29th at 5 o'clock. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So many.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned, and we'll be back on the 29th of September. Everybody stay safe.
Thank you all.
Thank you.